Hello, this is a short video designed to help you to be able to prepare for your research paper plan assignment. The first thing you should see on your screen is simply a shot or a screenshot of our syllabus. And what you're going to notice in the middle is it says research paper plan right here. And it says to be completed by Friday, February 26th. This counts for 10% of the final grade. Prepare a bibliography with at least 3 academic books, 4 academic articles, and additional resources, for example, websites, videos, etc. And a 1 to 2 page double-spaced 12-point font summary of your proposed topic for the research paper. There is flexibility about using books versus peer-reviewed research articles. I've also uploaded to the Canvas website another sheet, which is, of course, your research paper plan assignment. Exactly the same text is copied and pasted into the top here, so there's nothing new there. What it tells you is you need to simply use the online resources of the University of Saskatchewan Library to locate 3 academic books, 4 academic articles, and some additional resources. I'm going to show you how to find those books and to find those articles during this video. Now, the first thing I have is the nuts and bolts of the assignment. You can download this PDF from the Canvas webpage. So again, it gives you some of the basic information. It's telling you to write a short, double-spaced plan for your research paper. Now, your research paper for this class is due Friday, March 31st. Here, for this assignment, what you need to do is write 2 to 3 paragraphs describing your thesis question. That's correct, not a thesis statement, but a thesis question. And provide short annotated bibliography. Now, what does that mean? A thesis question is literally a question. So, for example, why did people on the Silk Road wear boots instead of sandals? That would be a question which you probably could answer for your research paper. On the other hand, if you tried to turn that into a statement, people who traveled along the Silk Road wore boots and not sandals, it would be very easy to find exceptions to that rule, and you might even be led astray. So that's just one example why thesis questions are better. You're going to list your 2 to 3 books. Notice I've slightly changed it here. In other words, there is some flexibility in terms of the books, especially during this pandemic. Your 4 academic journal articles, your websites, your videos, and all of that. Of course, you noticed that I had an email that popped in while I was doing this. Anyway, so there's also a link there that I'm going to show you in a minute, and several different databases that we can use through the University of Saskatchewan to find books and articles. The key issue here is the keyword searches. What this means is what you type into that box, that search box, is going to give you either very good results or very bad results. And I'll give you some examples in a moment. Now, suggestions for where to start. The category of history encompasses a wide range of subjects. Many other specializations can be addressed with a history research paper or research paper plan. Let me give you just some suggestions here. You could look at economy and business, markets. If not silk, then what was sold and when? Overland, sea trade, etc. Arab, Chinese, Persian, European, African trade linked to the Silk Roads. You could also look at people or personalities, Chinese pilgrims or patrons, Fa Xian, Xuanzang, Yi Jing, Empress Wu Zhao, Enin or Enqin. These are just some of the individuals we will be meeting over the subsequent weeks. And you could do a research paper about those. Explorers, Stein, Pelliot, Hedin, Koslov, and many, many others. And this is just looking at the East Asian side of things. Languages. What did people read, speak, when, and where? For example, Sogdian, Kuchian, Khotanese, Sanskrit, Tibetan, Mongolian. You could choose almost any of these. How does this knowledge shape the topic of globalization today in terms of people coming together? That could be another aspect of your paper. Religion, Eastern Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, Buddhism, Islam, Taoism, almost any religious tradition you could look at here, even, of course, so-called Hinduism or Brahmanism. DNA analysis of archaeological remains, people, plants, foods, textiles, murals, many different things. Warfare, how did conquests along the Silk Road shape the early medieval and modern worlds? Politics and identity. There's lots to examine there. Forgeries and fakes on the museum trade then and now. So this is just a quick rundown of some possible subjects you could use. Where are you supposed to look? In a moment, I'm going to turn to just showing you some brief examples of how to use the University of Saskatchewan Library's webpage. But I want to show you just some, and this is just some names, for example. These are some of the very best journals in the field for those of you who might be more interested in more pre-modern subjects. Tongbao is arguably the best journal in the field. Harvard Journal of Asiatic Studies, Journal of the Royal Asiatic Society, Cahiers d'Extrême-Asie from the École Française d'Extrême-Orient. Actually, they publish in English. You should know that. It was originally French. It's the French School of the Far East. The Indo-Iranian Journal, exceptional resource. The Journal of the American Oriental Society, Monumenta Serica, Monumenta Nipponica, in case you're more interested in Japan. Asia Major, Early China, Tang Studies, the Journal of Song Yuan Studies. These are just a few examples. You could use many outside here, which is why I say, if you find interesting sources, please do not hesitate to ask either the professor or the TA. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is show you how to do this using the University of Saskatchewan Library. So simply what you see on the screen is the Chrome browser. And you're going to notice that the link library.usask.ca is at the top. So this is what you find when you land on the University of Saskatchewan Library webpage. What I want you to do is click over here where it says databases, okay? Now, there are several different databases here, and I have them already in here. JSTOR, Project Muse, ATLA, or ProQuest. You could, if you're interested, use the Cambridge History of China if you're really interested in China, or maybe even Encyclopedia Britannica as a place to start. But to find articles, you want to go to JSTOR, Project Muse, or ATLA. Now, JSTOR is going to be the best. So what I want you to do is do that, and then of course you can hit the little search button or hit return or enter on your keyboard. Then what you're going to do is hit online access, and see I already have a tab open here. So you may be asked to input your NSID. So it says search journals, primary sources, and books on JSTOR. So what I'm going to do, and who knows what's going to come up here, but I'm going to say Silk Road Studies. And then I'm going to hit return. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's going to generate a search, and you're immediately going to find that it has 24,886 search results. Not so great. So this is an example of why using broad search topics or keywords can be difficult. The other problem is the sorting. Am I going to do it by relevance? Am I going to do it by newest? Or am I going to do it by oldest? So notice oldest could be really interesting. You might find that that's something you really want to look at here, okay? So these are some lectures on history back from 1800. Very interesting documents. Anyway, what I'm going to do is go back here and say relevance. And I'm going to look for something else. Okay, so I'm going to do, I misspelled. Khotanese texts. Because that's probably a little bit more narrow. Oh, only 1,225 results. So we have place names in Khotani Saka. So this is interesting, but an article published in Monumenta Serica back in 1967. That might be really good, but maybe I want to look at something else. We have H.W. Bailey doing work in 1939, Turks in Khotanese texts. By the way, our library owns a bunch of his books. Newly identified Khotanese fragments in the British Library and their Chinese parallels by a good friend of mine, Chen Huayu. This is from April 2012. So if you're interested in the topic, this is the one you might want. Okay, so you'd hit download, accept, proceed to download, and go through the process for your computer, and so on and so forth. So you see, you can deal with lots and lots of searches here. And here we have Diego Lakota, who actually teaches at the University of Manitoba before he moves to UCLA soon. In any event, this is a good example from 2019. So what you see is many examples here. And for your own purposes, you might be more interested in anthropology or maybe archaeology or maybe even Asian art, classical studies, economics. You see, you can move in many different directions here, but it really depends on what you put in this text box. So this is the best place to start for looking for those articles. Now, what I'm going to do is go back here to the library and simply click on the University tab. Now, books we're going to do. Now we're going to do Khotanese texts again. Now, what we're going to notice here is that the University of Saskatchewan Library, we can choose over here, do we want full text online, peer-reviewed, or available in the library? That's what you want, okay? Available in the library. Not that you can go inside the library, but you can check these books out through contactless pickup. Now, I would not suggest most of you actually picking up Kotani's text by H.W. Bailey because, maybe that's not so interesting, given that they aren't really translated. However, we do have the prolexis to the Book of Zambasta, a text we will be dealing with. Maybe that's something you want to look at. Notice that the library owns it. And then, of course, to get this, you just click on it. Then you look up here, request chapter article scan, request item for pickup, things like that. And then you move through the process to be able to do contactless pickup. So we have a lot of resources at the University of Saskatchewan Library. This is the Murray Library that you can do contactless pickup. And if you're wondering what contactless pickup is, we can go over here to the University of Saskatchewan Library. And in fact, we can simply find that use the library. It'll explain what it is, self-service and contactless pickup. Oh, look, there it is. Requesting items, picking up items, returning. So it gives you a lot of information, in addition to obviously finding PDFs of articles and other kinds of resources. Other kinds of resources would obviously include websites, things you might find off Wikipedia, and other sources. So what I want to do is wish you the best of luck and implore you to contact me or Anne if you have any questions in the process of finding the academic books and articles for this project. Thank you very much.